Taliban militants fed up with office culture, ready to quit. This guy, Taliban member Gul Aja Jalali works at the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation in Kabul. Jalali used to spend his nights planting bombs, but since the Taliban swept back to power in 2021, hundreds of fires have returned to school. Oh no, bro. Hassan was trying to do the whole Russians and Americans have loads in common if they're working class. The only war should be class war. Do you think someone needs to tell the Taliban that the only jihad is class jihad? Almost 2 years after the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, the jihadists who transitioned from the battlefields to paper-pushing government jobs in the city are ready to quit. The Afghanistan Analyst Network, a non-profit policy research organization working to increase the understanding of life in Afghanistan, released a report last month examining how the jihadists who took over Kabul, many of whom arrived in the capital for the first time, were finding city life in their new roles. Bro. Interviewed 5 jihadists who had spent several years of their lives fighting for the Taliban. They ranged from 24 to 32. Had spent between 6 and 11 years in the Taliban, different ranks: a commander, sniper, deputy commander, and 2 fighters. Broadly speaking, all of our interviewees preferred their time as fighters in what they considered a jihad. Now the men find themselves shackled with the bureaucracy of running a country as they work civilian jobs in security positions, spend too much time on traffic and on Twitter, and yearn for the tranquility of village life. Bro, the only jihad is class jihad. They find clocking in tedious and almost unbearable. There's almost this thing. It doesn't tie into this at all, but it just reminds me of it. Is the way people will talk about how populists um, tend to thrive off of like a very big initial spark and this kind of like longing in its society for something different and something fresh and exciting, but um, they have a very quick shelf life if they can't take power, because it's the same with Trump, right? Like, isn't Trump a really good example of someone who like blasted through the Republican Party in 2016 to get into power off of the back of his populist rhetoric? But when he was in, that support starts to dwindle because the excitement kind of fades. And then now he's kind of reduced to readjusting Make America Great Again, which used to refer to some kind of like vague, abstract caricature of the past. But now when he says Make America Great Again, he goes back to like his own presidency. He keeps on talking about, we had the greatest economy, we had the greatest military. Like, even though he's talking about what, like 4 years ago. So the populist thing just kind of loses its spark after a while. And it's probably the same thing with like Bernie or Corbyn as well. Like, it's just like a really short lived. The difference between 2017 and 2019 for Corbyn, arguably Brexit had a bit to do with that as well, but also just like he just got kind of, you can tell with the interviews as well and all the media coverage between 2017 and 2019, he was just like, he just wasn't as interested anymore. Even in the interviews, like you could tell in 2019, like he didn't really want to be there. And he went from being this like new and exciting thing to almost like a bit too prime ministerial looking. He almost looked as if he was like, he almost looked like he was the establishment to some people. I'd imagine like he had that aesthetic almost. So yeah, yeah, populism is a very short-lived thing, and I wonder if it's the same thing like this for the Taliban, of like people who were radicalized and kind of lived off this thrill of being a militant and longing for this imaginary past and this like sort of 7th century Islamic fantasy that they probably recruit a lot of their members on. But now it's like, what does getting power actually mean? Working in an office, 9 to 5. Drinking Red Bull. We couldn't destroy the Taliban, but office work destroyed the Taliban. This is also true with the Nazis as well. I think, fuck, I think they're, because there were, after the Weimar Republic was like no longer a democracy. It was like kind of like 1932, 33, where so much power was centralized into the president and the chancellor that like the votes in the Reichstag just didn't really mean anything anymore. The Nazis, I think at their peak, got like 43% of the vote, but I think there was one more election after. I might be wrong. I think there was one more election after that where their vote share actually went down. And I think one of the reasons that they pushed for the Enabling Act so hard was because they were they realized that their popular support wasn't going to last as long. And then you get throughout the years of Weimar Germany, and then you got all these like sort of like collections of anecdotes because that's all you could get at the time. Was that people had just become disillusioned by them very quickly. And this happened to a lot of prominent figures as well. A lot of prominent figures who kind of like rode the wave for the early 30s. You can tell like they get disillusioned near the like mid 30s and especially towards the war. That was like a big problem as well. Need a Taliban version of The Office. The former fighters found themselves missing the freedom of the front lines as they adjusted to the mundane nature of office work. A 24-year-old former sniper said, "The Taliban used to be free of restrictions, but now we sit in one place behind a desk and a computer 24
Remember
hours
the
a day,
Holodomor?
7 days a week. Life's become so wearisome. You do the same things every day." Jade, thanks for the prime sub. I really appreciate that. Hey, what an absolute slayer. In our ministry, there's little work for me to do. Therefore, I spend most of my time on Twitter. We're connected to speedy Wi Fi and internet. Many mujahideen, including me, are addicted to the internet, especially Twitter. Filling the bar, psychological manipulation got me. Listen, everyone wants to fill the bars, you know? And the bars want to be filled. 5 to 10 comes a dreaded commute. You have to go to the office before 8 a.m. and stay there till 4 p.m. If you don't go, you're considered absent. Wages cut from your salary. Wow, bro. Government workers come with pressures and responsibilities the men did not prepare for or particularly want. In the time of jihad, life was very simple. All we had to deal with was making plans for attacks against the enemy and for retreating. This is so insane. People didn't expect much from us. We had little responsibility towards them. Whereas now, if someone is hungry, he deems us directly respond. I wonder, fuck. I wonder if only the brown shirts had like TikToks, because I imagine there's probably a lot of overlap here, right? I wonder if the Groypers will clock onto this. That as soon as they get power, life's going to be pretty fucking boring, you know? Oh no, whatever happens in Afghanistan, people blame us. Even a minor misdeed by us mistakes it to the media that the Taliban are doing this and that. It's like the cameras of the entire world are watching us. Oh, oh, lack of social lives. The camaraderie is dwindled. Oh, we used to live among the people. Many of us now have caged ourselves in offices and palaces. Palaces. Low pay, high cost of living. Well, the only jihad is class jihad. I was going to say Habibi, but that's not Farsi. They don't speak, they speak Farsi. The movement covered their expenses. They didn't need salaries. The jihad exempted you from everyday concerns. The high cost of rent. Why is there high rents in Afghanistan? Is it just high because they have low wages? Probably. Sanctions might have to do with that. Yeah, fuck. Wow. There's a proverb in our area that money is like a shackle. Now, if we complain or don't come to work or disobey the rules, they cut our salary. Well, if only someone had told you the problem was in fact capitalism. I thought it was Pashtun, not Farsi. Don't mind me. I'm stupid. It could very well be that thing that you said. Okay.